This is a recording of Dale E. Bovee of 2025 Onaka Drive, Onaka, Orlando, Florida 32809. Dale's phone number is area code 407-841-5813. The recording was made on January 5th, 1989 at Dale's home by Jim Walkinshaw of the Oldsmobile History Center. This is tape number 1 of 1 tape. Okay, Dale, perhaps you could just give us your name, address, and phone number if you would.
Okay, Dale Bovee. I live in Orlando, Florida. My address is 2025 Onaka Drive, Orlando 32809. And my phone number, area code 407-841-5813.
Okay, great. Now you've got a big pile of photographs here, so let's just take a few minutes and go through them and see if you can pull out some names.
Okay, these are my recreation years, which started in 1952, and I left the recreation department in 1966. I was 14 years in it, and thanks to George Egbert and Bob Woolhouse, they were very kind to give me these 8x10 photographs of some of the many activities that I enjoyed being involved in over the years. So this first picture that I'm glancing at is a golf tournament that was held at the 9-hole course toward south of town. Now, what is that little...
Chisholm Hills?
No.
No, not...
Chisholm. Yeah, that's the course.
Okay.
Chisholm Hills. It was a different course at that time. But this was a girls' event, and usually we had about 40 to 50 girls attend, and I'd have about 4 or 5 fellows help me. And I see in this picture here, Chet Baylor is standing in the back. The weather was in the low 40s, and as you see, everybody was freezing.
Yeah.
So we did get in from the golf course rather early, and this picture shows several people. Dick Manson here was one of my steady workers. I see Edna Stangry sitting right next to Dick, and of course Dick is sucking on a beer as he usually did. And
so who's this guy in the middle here?
Oh, that's me right in the middle, and I can't remember her name. She worked up in the accounting department. But some of these names, like Esther, it was Esther Pollock at the time. It's
far left with her face cut off.
And Janet Carlton is right in the front. And these girls worked in Building 60. Okay. Most of them were salaried people. Little Susie Skian, upper right-hand corner, that she left Oldsmobile and got married, and I know her husband had a business of some type. But I used to play golf a lot with her brother, 2 brothers, Tom and George Skian.
Sure.
And there's Helen Alling on the other side.
Oh,
and everybody knows Helen Alling because now she's married to Fred Barrett.
Oh, okay.
And Helen never missed any of those activities.
All right, that's one.
That was one of my first events. This here was at Marywood Country Club. And our team on the Starfire League, the personnel team, won the championship that year. So this was the playoff amongst the other
What year was that?
teams. Now this had to be, I can't read this
Maybe
sign
I can
on
read
that.
those with a glass when I get back.
Yeah, and of
Who
course
are all these
here
guys now?
now here's Mike Boughton,
Okay, left.
and that's yours truly.
Okay.
Gail Retzlaff, Harold Cutler,
Yep.
Bill Schultz, and Oliver Bixby.
All right.
So I think we won the whole championship
Well, it looks like
that
it,
time
all
because we won the big trophy,
Uh-huh.
the playoffs. So
Yeah.
that was one of the major events.
Okay.
Well, here's another time when the personnel team won, and I think that will be legible. I think
With the glass also.
the year.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So the same fellas, other than here's Bill Land.
Wait a minute. Go left to right on that,
Okay.
Dale. Do it again.
Okay, Bill Schultz is in the back.
Yep.
Then Ollie Bixby,
Yep.
Sherm Forbes.
Yep.
Then our leader Harold Cutler, Bill Land, Dick Gilmore,
Yep.
yours truly, and Mike Boughton.
All
This
right.
was another year that
Okay, good.
we captured the golf tournament. Now this one here is a committee banquet that the company was kind enough to give every year in the fall of the year for all the workers
Okay.
for the Challenge Golf League.
All right.
And I can recall some of these names here. Well, we'll start here. Bill Early, of course, everybody knows, and this was
Just a minute. Now, Bill Early is in the front right.
front right,
Mm-hmm.
and
In back
Charlie Winnicky
Okay.
was one of my bartenders, as was Bill Early.
Yep.
And here's Bruce Weaver,
Okay. Left of Bill.
and Tommy Martell is standing right
Okay.
behind Bruce. And then, isn't that, I can't, the one on Weaver's right there, I know it, but I can't think of it
That's
right
okay.
now. Jack Alling is right behind him. That was Helen Alling's son.
Okay.
And then
There's you.
me on the far
Far
left,
left,
and this was
standing.
Ernie Cummings, who was a very young man at that time.
Yep.
And this fellow, God, I can't, he was up in building 60.
Okay.
Both of these, Stan Burgess,
Okay.
Oscar Ringenberg,
Oh, yes. I knew Buzz.
you know Oscar,
Yeah.
and then here's Adam Petrovich, and right behind Adam is Matt Campbell,
Oh, yes.
and Bob Merritt is just to Tommy's left. I can't recall some of these names.
Yeah, it's okay.
And Bob Olhouse is in the back
They're
there.
standing up in the far right.
And then Chet Baylor
Yeah.
and Harold Heim is right next to Chet. I know they work together.
Yeah.
This is Harry Kratzer,
Okay.
Don Irwin,
Oh, yes, with his head half cut off.
who I believe Donner was the chairman at this
Uh-huh.
time.
Uh-huh.
And oh my gosh,
Who's that guy?
God, he lives on Waverly Road. He worked long after he retired. He was on our committee,
Mhm.
and
Oh, you got any idea of when?
that had to be in the 50s.
50s? Okay.
That was sometime in the 50s
All right.
because Don Irwin, I think, was still the chairman up until Bill Seska Jr. Did you know young Bill Seska became chairman? And of course, it's all in the team magazines.
Yeah, we're going to see
all the-
Suska down here in Florida. There is a,
Yeah.
there's
Well,
a
that's
Suska here. Who's
that's
that?
Bill's father.
That's his father.
The
Okay.
father.
All
Bill Senior worked in the purchasing
Okay.
department,
Helen
and
Senior.
Bill Jr., the chairman, worked in the time office.
Okay.
So this, here's
Okay,
another committee. Let's see if we can find Don Irwin. If he's still chairman, so he's standing in the
Stand
back
in the middle
row
of the
there.
back, yeah.
And little Ernie, oh my gosh, there's Tony Sangre. He's fourth from the left in the back.
All right.
And then the fellow in purchasing, he had a wooden leg right next to Don Irwin.
All right, to the left of Don.
He was I can't remember his name, he was a forge plant representative.
Mhm.
And of course, did you know Shirley DeSeth?
No.
These are Shirley DeSess, he worked in product engineering someplace.
Okay.
And, oh my gosh, isn't that awful? If I had time to think of these names, I would think of them.
Yeah. I recognize this guy. This is Joe Schmeichel.
Joe Schmeichel, yeah. And this is
that
Ken,
looks like
and that's Oscar
Buzz
Ringenberg.
Ringenberg
Yeah.
again, and this is Ken. He was my hand friend. KWO.
Gothrow.
No, not
Ken Gothrow is that one.
Oh, okay. Well, this was Ken. Dang. What was Ken's last name? Oh.
Bob. It's Bob something.
No. Is it? Oh, maybe it's not the same guy I'm thinking. It is a different guy. It is
Yeah,
not him.
yeah,
Okay,
that's Bob something. Yeah.
There's Matt. That's Matt sitting back there.
Yeah, Matt Campbell, and this
Okay.
is Al Zuley here, sitting
Ahead of
right in
Joe.
front of Joe Schmeichel.
Okay.
You know, he passed away at a young age,
Mm.
at age 42. Oh, and this, oh, you know him, don't you? From, I think he passed away too. Stan Burgess is over there, and
Third from the left.
yeah, this fellow here worked with Herbie Aaron.
Okay.
See,
Yeah,
Herbie would know a lot of the
Yeah.
names. I can't.
And you're at the head of the table there again, right? That's you right there in the.
Yeah, I'm
checkered
sitting. Yeah,
shirt,
I'm
or
sitting. Yeah,
coat.
I'm sitting next to Campbell,
Yeah.
Matt Campbell.
Okay.
This was right at the end of the banquet. And this here picture of the fellas at the buffet meal. This was taken at the Cascades golf course.
Okay.
At the men's golf outing, and this was always held in August of every year.
Mm-hmm.
I can't recall the first fella, but the second guy in line is Mickey Swabash, then Dick Keeney, and
Dick Whiters, you
Dick
said.
Whiters,
Mhm.
and Harry Kratzer, and that's all the faces
the rest
that
of them
are
right
visible there.
The foggy.
That was an annual event here. And of course, this was just a picture taken of the flight winners at the
Okay.
annual golf tournament, and I think I won the first flight. Yeah.
Guy on the right is Dale.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Carol House.
That's the guy on the left.
He the third flight, and Bill Behringer won the second flight.
Okay, the man in the middle.
Every year. That was an annual
Mhm.
event. Of course, this one here was just a picture of all the trophies that we used to give to the three different league champions at the
Okay.
six-man golf league tournament.
All right.
This was held at Marywood Country Club,
Oh,
an
yeah.
annual playoff in the fall of the year.
Okay.
And of course, all these pictures now come of a style show, girls' style show, that nobody wanted the men part because we're all in our bathing suits
Uh-huh.
and we had to get dressed up like monkeys with men from Mars. This
Yeah.
was the theme.
Okay.
And the girls would run around.
This was when, Dale? About 55 maybe, or?
I'd say this is sometime just before 1960.
All right.
Yeah, but all these are confirmed. The dates
Yeah,
and all that are
in
in that
the, in the
team
team
magazines.
magazines.
You
Yeah,
can
okay.
go through all that,
Yeah, yeah.
all those issues.
Okay, now
And these
who
are-
were some of the people that were playing in here?
Oh, the girls that were models, and the only one I can recognize, Susie Skean, but this one here, I just can't think of her name.
Okay. See,
And-
Susie
and-
Skean had a one-piece swimming suit on. How about the guys? Who were the guys?
This is Jack Alling, along with me here.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to run around stage and act like men from another planet
Okay.
chasing the girls, which
All right. You're in the middle,
Yeah.
and Jack is on the right. Who's this guy on the left?
he's some tech student, I think.
Oh, okay.
He was a friend of Jack's.
All right.
But Jack Alling, I think, was a student at the time, a GMI
Yeah.
student.
And the second
At the
picture, this is
That's Jack.
Alling again, and that's you on the left. And is this?
One of the girls that whose name I can't
okay,
recall.
That's one that we don't know who she is.
No.
Okay.
And here's another picture of.
Yeah.
I don't know these girls here. Their
Yeah.
names.
All
I
right.
just can't think of them. There's most of them. This one girl is in a lot of the
Yeah,
pictures,
she
but
is,
she was
yeah.
the most active one
Yeah.
on the stage.
Yeah.
Oh, and here, gosh, here's a girl modeling, and I can't remember her. She worked in
At the
Bill-
podium.
at
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
building
come
60 there,
Uh-huh.
and I was supposed to
Be chasing her.
chasing her, and oh my gosh, this little blonde-haired girl, she lives in Lansing yet,
Mhm.
I'm sure. And As they're going off stage, well, we had to act like nuts.
Yeah, huh?
Do crazy things. This picture of me holding the little girl here, I was very proud of this picture because she was one of the daughters that sat in the front row, and I can't remember what daughter.
Okay.
Then
For that program?
For that particular, and I asked her to come up, and she drew the winning prize, the name, and she came up, and just as I lifted her to thank her, she got a nice big smile on me, and I was very proud of her. Today she's a grown woman.
Oh yes, yes.
Now this was another style show on another occasion.
So we did this more than once.
This is a different type of style show. See, because there were the judges.
Yeah, because there's girls shown,
and he's from Bob Stone.
Bob Stone, second guy.
From the same, myself.
Yeah.
And George Egbert.
Oh yeah.
We were the judges and had to select the winning numbers from the various costumes.
Who were all these people?
These were all women. All women in this Arabian.
Oh,
that was the theme of this particular dress costume. It was a contest of who could dress up, and they had some tremendous.
Are these women too?
All women.
The guys that look
They're
like
all
guys.
women. They're all women dressed up, and they had some beautiful costumes.
Same time era, in the 50s.
It had to be, yeah. It had to. I had hair, so it had to be.
Okay.
And Bob Stone, yeah, because it might have been the early '60s, but I'm sure
Once
the Teen
again,
magazine.
I can find it in
yeah,
there
you
on
can
the
find
left.
all
Right,
those.
yeah,
in
okay.
There. Equal right. Now this was another one. It was a different theme.
Yeah.
See, but it wasn't all the Arabian Nights, but.
Would that have been at the same get-together?
Same get-together as that one.
Because the thing looks the same, the table that you're sitting at.
See, they had to dress in a particular fashion, see? And this girl, oh my gosh, this is Gary, was this Jerry Radke? Jerry Radke.
Well,
I think this was.
Could be.
Her husband worked in '60s.
Sure, I knew Art Radke.
Art Radke. That, I'm pretty sure is Jerry Radke, but one of the other women will recognize. She'll recognize all of them. Helen will know all the girls from.
She's likely to.
Yeah. Of course, this one here has a mask on,
right?
So I can't tell who it is.
Bob Stone looks like he's having fun.
Yeah, he is. They love that. They wanted to be a judge, so I had no problem getting a judge for these things. Yeah, I asked him. Yeah.
He was a penguin or something.
Yeah, some of the fantastic costumes. Of course, this was the needy
Santa Claus
banquet that the Girls Club sponsored every year.
Yeah.
They collected toys and gifts and so on, and they put on for all the needy children in Lansing. And they needed a Santa Claus, so I volunteered to be Santa Claus.
Stuffed your pillow in your shirt, and away you went.
Yeah, and that was enjoyable because the kids, you'd come up to me, and I had to go, ho. Now this was something that I was involved in, the state recreation program.
Okay.
And we had people from all over the state of Michigan. And this meant at the Ford home outside of
over in Dearborn?
Big old home, the original Ford home.
Yeah,
we met there because he was the head of the recreation for the state of Michigan.
Okay, so these people are not Oldsmobile people?
No, none of them.
Yourself.
I'm the only one who went. I represented Oldsmobile at this meeting, and we talked about various recreation programs. And these people are some from industry, from Ford, from other GM divisions, and throughout. There's a union member represented here. He was from the union.
From the left and the front.
He came from the union. I can't remember the names. Of course, we'd meet once a year to get together and hash it. And this was another meeting of it. This was a group meeting.
The same group?
Of the same group.
Okay.
And these people came from all over different aspects of industry. Now here's the man in charge of General Motors.
It looks like Harlow Curtis almost.
No, but he was representing the central office in Detroit. And of course, they came all over, and we'd have a luncheon, and we'd talk over different formats. And it was very, very educational because we wanted to contribute
Sure.
to help each other people.
Sure.
Of course, our group, Oldsmobile, was right because of our sportsman's club. They thought the Oldsmobile Outdoor Club was something very, very unique. And at that time, we were the only one.
Other people were not doing that.
They weren't doing that yet, but we more or less initiated in this, and they were real proud of us, and we got a lot of recognition for it. And I'm sure some of the other companies followed
Sure.
followed the format as a model. Of course, this was just the four of us here. I can't remember their names because he was from Michigan and he was from General Motors, and I can't remember with this
that
guy.
same fireplace that was in that other picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, this was my Dale Carnegie class, so you don't want this.
Well, wait a minute. Was it the company Dale Carnegie class? It was held.
Yeah.
Isn't that all
Yeah, these
General
are
Motors people?
oh, sure.
Well, sure we want that.
Oh, God, you know a lot of these people, don't you? Here's Bob Dowdy.
Oh,
Did you
yeah,
know
sure.
Bob Dowdy?
Heck yes. This guy's even.
Yeah, these are all Oldsmobile people.
Yeah.
I think there's a class you recognize. Oh, who's the one who passed away? Bob, he died in a chair. Oh, supervisor, you know him real well, didn't you? Oh, yeah, he was the head of, was it Methods Engineering or?
Oh, Bob Mooney.
Bob Mooney.
That's Bob Mooney?
Bob Mooney, that's
Oh,
Bob.
my
Oh, he was
Lord.
he was our instructor.
Hardly even recognize
He
him.
was our instructor, I remember that.
Huh.
Of course, they came from all aspects.
When would this have been taken?
Oh, when did I take that course?
Is there a date on the back?
No, I didn't take that. And this was part of it, because we
Okay.
had to do it.
Your
Did you take
speech.
the Dale Carnegie
No, I
course?
never did. About 99% of everybody did in that era.
Yeah. God, that had to be probably in the 50s.
sometime,
In
yeah.
the 50s.
Okay, both those pictures. The Schultz bunch is, this was part of your speech.
Yeah, the class was
Yeah,
broken
there's
down into different groups, and we
Bill
competed.
Freeman sitting right there.
Yeah, he was in the class. Another, Mitchell. This is Mitchell.
Okay.
He had two sons.
Mm-hmm.
That was the father of,
Okay.
what are the Mitchell's boys?
Let's see, because I went through school with one of those.
Yeah.
Dorian and...
Dorian.
What was the other one?
And that was his
Yeah.
father.
Mhm.
His name was Retzlaff.
That's not Alex Retzlaff. is
That's
it?
Alec Retzlaff.
With a cigar.
Yeah, with a
Okay.
cigar. Of course, these names here just slipped my mind here.
Wow, there's a
This
big
was a
bunch.
cribbage tournament here.
In the auditorium.
In the auditorium, and we would have about 4 to 5 of those every winter.
Okay.
And the employee would be allowed to bring an outside guest, and we'd have a good turnout, as you see.
Yeah, sure did.
They usually average maybe close to 100 people in this particular event, but some of them would get up as high as 200.
Yep.
This was the winning softball team one year.
Okay, that's
Of course.
Dad Bovee in front holding the trophy with...
You know, Stan...
wait a minute, who's this guy here? I should know him.
Plant protection.
Plant protection guy. Dang. Okay, can't
You know,
remember.
Stan Harding Ferris is way in the back here.
Okay, upper
the back
left.
row.
Uh-huh.
And Stan cost accounting. Oh. Helen will know.
Yeah, okay.
Helen will know that, Stan. I saw him at the golf tournament.
Oh, did you?
Last year. He
Okay.
was down here. This was another winning softball team. Banquet. Final banquet picture. And they won the playoff. And I'm standing with Red Cherry.
Oh, yes, I remember Red Cherry.
Yeah, and of course, all these fellows were throughout the plant. And I could remember
Was this
a lot
a mix of salary and hourly guys? Or just
Well,
salary?
it depended. They could have any.
Could have
they
anybody
wanted.
they want.
Yeah, any wanted because Stan played on the team, see, and he was
Oh, yeah.
salaried.
Okay.
And of course, a lot of these now hourly. Now he became a foreman, a general foreman, I know, up there at the final assembly. This was Bill Malatinky. He was hourly.
Okay.
See, and most of these fellows here are hourly. But Stan, I think, and I know he became salary.
Okay.
But oh, here's in my basement. This is when the Oldsmobile Outdoor Club was just getting underway, and I held a meeting an organization meeting with the officers.
Okay.
Of course, Bob Hargett was
in the middle seated, dark shirt.
I think Ralph Byrd just took over as president from Bob Hargett.
He's on the left of Hargett.
And this is Downey, Frank Downey.
Frank Downey, I remember him, far right.
He became, I think, an officer later on, and Ken is his first name.
Yes, but what's his last name?
Ken something.
Damn.
I'll know it. And he worked with Ralph. This fella here, that's right over my head here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, he became, Joe worked out in the piston department.
Hmm.
Hard worker.
Okay.
Real hard worker.
And this is you here with your back?
Yeah, I'm sitting down here, and I think we're just. Oh, we're talking. We're Houghton Lake event.
Oh,
we drew
okay.
a map.
Here's the map. Yeah.
You look. Oh, here are all the names.
Okay, good.
See,
Ken Harris.
Ken Harris.
That's it.
See,
yeah.
there it is. The names are right on
okay.
there. Now, this is an outdoor club program that we really got some good turnout. I think that's Bill Mahoney up there
at the podium.
At the podium, talking. Yeah, this was one of the family night gatherings in our auditorium.
You were showing pictures or something?
We would have outside guests,
mm-hmm.
and we'd bring in several people, depending on the event.
Sure.
And we showed pictures, but you could see it was a family event, and we'd always get tremendous turnouts.
Yeah.
These were some of the prizes that were given away for the outdoor club program.
All right.
And of course, there's George and Ralph Byrd and myself. And these were given for the fishing. And I don't know if we had the hunting program yet, but we probably did. But it was a combination of several events. Oh, here we are up at Houghton Lake registration table.
Oh, yes. I remember
and my God, and
let's see, you're on the right, and who's on the
this is his name. His first name is George.
Okay. And the guy
George, and he was on the committee, and boy, I look like I'm in sad shape there.
You sure do. Like you had it.
But these as the people come in at Houghton Lake registration. This is another picture. Oh, here's Butler. Get Butler. And,
oh yeah.
He
was. Okay, that's you on the right, and then Gib.
And then Ralph Byrd.
And who's this?
And that is the head recreation for General Motors. Him and his wife came up. I invited him to the family night program. And he was the speaker for that particular event. And he was wonderful. And he was a wonderful man. And of course the prizes here, some of the prizes that were given away to it. Oh, that's just a picture of the Gary Player.
Oops, there's another one.
Yeah. Oh, this was taken at the 9-hole course in Lansing.
All right. Down there at Chisholm Hills again?
No, east of town. What is that little 9-hole course?
East.
No, just in East Lansing there.
Oh, just between Lansing and East Lansing? Right.
Jim Pulver.
Yeah.
Is here to my left. Tony Stangry's behind him.
Yeah.
And I know he worked in the accounting department. We were sitting there just shooting the bull.
Yeah, okay. This is like the same picture.
Yeah, I think that is the same picture. That is. And here's the organization of the Oldsmobile Outdoor Club. This is the first group, the fishermen that got together.
All right.
This was the beginning. This had to be in 1953.
Okay.
And it was formed, the nucleus. This is what formed the entire outdoor club, and it developed from there. And of course,
this is Finest no, is that Finest Adair? No, it's not Finest Adair.
Yeah, Ralph Hill is here.
Is that Finest Adair?
I think that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Ralph Hill next to him, then Lyle Kirby.
All right.
And Al Quast is next to Bob Hargett.
Okay. Bob Hargett's in the center.
And these are, of course, you recognize Bob Hargett, the tall one in the back.
Yeah.
And next to him, I can't think of his name.
Okay.
Ken Goldthrow, Tony Stangry,
yourself,
myself, and Bruce Weaver.
All right. Now at the table.
At the table, Charlie
Stratton, was it?
Strahan.
Strandon. How'd you pronounce that? But that's him.
That's him.
Yeah.
he worked out in the plant.
Okay. That's this.
This is Herm Grimes next to
Okay, the guy in the plaid shirt.
in the uniform policeman. Adair. There's Adair.
Oh, that's Finest Adair?
Finest Adair.
Okay.
I think that's him right there.
This looks like Roger
Walt
Lee.
Reed. That's Walt Reed.
Walt Reed, okay.
From engineering.
Okay.
Yeah, when we got the committee going, we went over to the teacher at Sexton High School who taught taxidermy. And this got us a little publicity, and of course George says, well, let's get something with a little background to it. Carl Shop and myself and Al Quast and Tony Stangry.
And what was it? Your other
and I can't think of his name, but it's in the team magazine.
All right.
Yeah, and here we are again. He was so proud of showing
all those fish.
All the fish showing, but this is when the beginning of the thing, and it gave us a good start. This is another meeting in the early organization.
Okay.
This was the fish committee.
Yeah.
Fish committee, and then I think Tony Stangry became president.
Okay,
I think for a year.
To your right.
To my right, and of course here Ken Kingsley.
Here's Carl Shop on the right.
And he worked in Building 60.
Okay, question mark.
Then Al Quast.
There we go.
By sometime.
Now start over again on that bunch.
Okay.
We've got Carl Shop on the right.
On the right, and then Al. His first name is Al.
Okay.
I think it's Al, but I know this one's Al Quast, Ken Kingsley, Bob Hargett, Lyle Kirby, Ken Goldthrow, and that might be Adair. I'm not sure.
I don't think so. Anyway.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Okay. Then at the table from left to right.
Here, how can I forget his name?
First guy you don't recognize.
I don't recognize him, but the second guy I know. It's on the tip of my tongue, and wonderful guy.
Yeah.
That's Tony Stangry, then myself, and then
Charlie Strand again.
And Mel. I can't recall.
Okay.
I would know it.
It's all right.
Okay, this was when we were planning our Houghton Lake family days on the ice.
Okay, you and Red Cherry.
Red Cherry and Downey, Frank Downey.
Oh yes.
Frank Downey was the deputy, and
Bob
Hargett is putting on the deputy badge. That was in the organization. Oh, here I am trying to catch some fish. I wasn't much of an ice fisherman, I'll tell you, because I didn't know anything about it. But I had a lot of people around me who did. And of course, I know George Egbert here, and this is Ralph Hill.
All right.
Of course, and this is Al Quast, because they used to go fishing together. And I'm sitting over there watching, wondering what to do next.
All right. That is an excellent bunch of photographs.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to make you go back. When did you start at Oldsmobile?
I hired in at Oldsmobile in 1948.
Doing what?
I was on the old motor line.
Are you working on production?
I worked on production,
Okay.
and then I moved to the new V8 plant. I became a stock chaser.
Where were you working then? Were you down in building 28 or?
And in 28, and the old plant was 28, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Then it was, what, 30?
36 and 38.
36.
Mm-hmm.
I became a stock chaser. And then I put in an application for timekeeping.
Oh, okay.
And I finally got it. I was about ready to quit.
Okay.
Because the transfer didn't go through.
Yeah.
And I remember they came down to me. I was going to go back to Chicago when he said, okay, we're going to put you on the time office. So I became a time clerk, and I was a time clerk for 3 years.
Down in any particular part of the plant?
In the time office.
But
and that, most of the time for those 3 years, I was at the final assembly. I wrote the time for the final assembly.
All right.
But that was in building 34 with
up
the
on
time.
the second floor.
The second floor.
All right.
From there, after 3 years, I got tired of it. I liked the work, but I got tired of the afternoon shift.
Okay.
So I made application, and then they put me in the accounting department, up in project control.
Okay. That was in
And I
1960?
only lasted there for about 4 months, because this, in 1952, is when then I was offered the recreation job.
Okay.
Jim Pulver and I were both interviewed for the job.
Okay.
And I got the job.
The recreation department at that time was under the personnel, in the personnel
In the
office?
personnel department.
Okay.
And Harold McFarland was director of labor relations, and he was the one who handled me.
Okay.
He hired me, and then F.I. Anderson was the chief counsel at that time. Well, shortly after Harold hired me, he got transferred to become head of the transmission plant in Willow Run.
Okay.
His office, I can't remember his exact title, but then F.I. Anderson became director of labor relations, and
Yes.
he became my immediate boss. Then shortly after that, I remember we moved from building 60, I can't remember what year, to building 62. The office wasn't that long off after. And I lasted on recreation up until 1966. I had a stroke in 1966, and I had to be transferred out.
Okay.
A lateral job. So from there, I moved into the employment office, and that was much more tiring than the recreation at the time, interviewing people. So I lasted, maybe about 2 or 3 years there, and then I was given a job in the recreation department, in the suggestion department. I was 10 years in the suggestion department, so that would have been 1970.
70, And then you retired in 80, you said?
And I retired in August of 1980.
August of 80, okay. Take me back to the recreation stuff, Dale, if you would. We started a whole lot of things in that time frame that never existed before.
Yes. Yes. The main thing that was started was the Oldsmobile Outdoor Club, because my boss, Harold McFarland, says, I want some type of sportsman club. Of course, he didn't remain there long enough, and I'll never forget him telling me this, that I just got it underway, our fishing committee, and I called the various fellows that I knew that might be fishermen, but I wasn't any fisherman, but being located in Michigan, we had fishermen and hunters galore,
Yeah, sure did.
and these fellows had just mushroomed, thanks to the knowledge of all the employees we had there who did participate in outdoor activities. Well, Harold, he left shortly, but he didn't see it, and of course the company sponsored 100%. Anything we asked for, the publicity, the programs, they were all for it because it was new. And most everybody there in that part of the country either fished, hunted, and loved this activity. So it just automatically grew. And our memberships, I remember we charged $1 a piece. And then it got into the family element. And this probably was one of the main reasons, well, it was the first activity where we could include the family, the wife and the children into it. So from there, when we got the backing of management, we started to develop family contest programs, family night programs, and we'd bring in celebrities and outdoors people, and we'd get a good turnout. There was no fee to attend any of these events, and of course the company went out 100% on prizes, so it just automatically sold itself over the years. And I remember many of the top management people would come to the programs. I remember Bob Rollis was one.
Okay.
He took in many family nights, and he'd come up to me and commend me, saying, "You've got a wonderful organization." Of course, he was the number 2 man at Oldsmobile at the time. Wolfram wasn't much of an outdoorsman, but I'm sure it was thanks to Bob Rollis and his position that helped sell it to my bosses, Bill Mahoney, and so on. And of course, it
You never saw Wolfram come to any of the affairs?
No. I think, well, that was something to do, a personal thing. And it was just too bad for that, because it's not that I don't think he wanted to stay away from, but it was something to do with you know what I'm talking about. So it just didn't click. But he got the backing. Bill Mahoney supported it, and it just was something. Over my whole employment years at Oldsmobile, I was so happy that we could have had a program. Of course, another activity that I personally took great interest in was golf, because they only had 2 golf leagues when I started, but we ended up with about 12 golf leagues when I left the program, because I personally got involved in organizing golf leagues and so on. Bowling was another thing that...
Did all of those exist prior to the formation of this? They all existed, didn't they, to some degree? We had bowling activities.
Oh, yes. Oh, definitely. We had good activity in all of them, but it just wasn't that much. Like, for example, the golf leagues. The golfers who used to work the night shift, they didn't have a league to play. So I made arrangement, because I think they should. I worked night shift myself, and I said I wanted to play in a golf league during the day. So I got those going, but because of my personal interest in golf too. But bowling just mushroomed. Bowling, of course, the girls' club activities, that was pretty much taken care of by the officers elected every year, and I'd sit in behalf of management to approve their yearly program. They'd have an activity about every month, and there wasn't very few times that they were ever turned down for various activity. Dinners, picnics, the golf, girls' golf outings was separate. That was under my leadership, sponsoring the girls' golf.
Did you have mixed ones, men and gals?
No, that was a policy that it was just as well. We never included in any of our activities. That was men's golf tournament, girls' golf tournament. The dinners even weren't even mixed. But it could create tremendous problems, especially when we had 5 busloads of girls, and I'd have a half a dozen fellows from our department as bus watchers. Would take them over on a picnic to Lake Michigan, Grand Haven, various places. But we always tried to keep them separate. I'd lose a few girls along the line if they were on the beach a few times, and we'd run up, and of course those are complications. But I always tried to keep the girls groups away from the general public, because some of the young girls would forget what time they're supposed to go home and so on.
Dale, what do you think the purpose of all those activities really was? Why did we do all those things?
That made a strong relationship between the company and the union. The union had less complaints when we were offering the employees, this was management,
Yeah.
offering all these activities, recreation activities, and the company was paying for it, to run them and the prizes, and it made a very good, strong relation between the UAW and Oldsmobile division, labor relations.
And it worked.
And it worked. When it come to contract time, well, they'd always have their demands, but without a strong recreation program, I'm sure there would have been, it made a happier worker out of them. To go to cribbage tournaments, to go, when the outdoor club especially got going, that brought in the family element, and we'd have events for the kids and the wives, and got into hunting, and the Houghton Lake event was just something that never had been tried before. Family days on the ice.
Who dreamed that up?
Our fishermen.
Your fishermen?
Who had gone to some of the big annual event. What was that annual event up on?
Oh, the Tip-Up Town?
Tip-Up Town.
Yeah.
And they suggested, well, why don't we have our own Tip-Up Town? And it just got going because we got these workers, and we went up there to check it, and it just took hold.
Why did the group start sort of with fishing? Was there any particular reason?
Fishing was the number one.
Okay.
See, fishing.
Most people.
It was the most people could fish. So when we got these fishermen together, and of course after the fishermen got going, the hunters said, "Hey, let's have something for the hunters." Well, that took hold very quickly too, because of course the thousands and thousands of deer hunters.
Oh yeah.
And different game. Of course, I knew nothing about this myself, because I come from a big city, Chicago, and I never hunted, but I got the cooperation, and I had all these experts. So all I'd have to do is just simply help coordinate them as to what management would back up, where they wouldn't get out of hand. And it was very easy for me. 14 years of it, I enjoyed it. But I had capable leaders. We had some real...
How did you get those? The people that did what I'll call, that knew about fishing and hunting. Where did those... How did you go about gathering those people?
Our Team Magazine, thanks to Team Magazine.
Okay.
The writers, George Egbert, would write articles, and of course he was a great enthusiast. And he'd put notices in, say we're going to have a meeting on a particular subject, and who would like to attend, and bang.
They would just arrive out of the woodwork.
They would come out from all over, from all phases, hourly and office and all types. So we selected the different representatives from those people throughout the entire plant. And they sold tickets, memberships, and of course ended up with badges and one thing after another. There was every month there was a new project.
How many people did you get that were members of the club?
I think it got to be over 5,000.
5,000
at one time. I think the membership just grew and grew and grew. And of course that was just employees. That didn't include all the family members. So it just mushroomed.
That was probably in a time when we had maybe, 10 or 12,000 people, maybe 15,000?
Oh yeah, close to 15.
So maybe
14.
a third of the people really were participating in the
were active at least.
That's really great.
It was very self-selling, but of course management was 100% behind it, and this was something. Of course, even throughout the state, I received recognition from the Department of Conservation, because we got them involved in some of our meetings, and it was highly recognized throughout industrial recreation, because it was very unique. Not many companies had such programs as we had, and we were one of the first. Morton F., I remember on his program, Bob Argett won first prize, and just the publicity for the state of Michigan was...
And you had other folks that sort of copied or took your program?
Oh yes, they were very interested. I went to several meetings throughout the years after that, and they inquired about it, and I sent the publicities from the team magazine
Yeah.
and different write-ups. And of course, George did a lot of this too. I looked for George to help me out, and he assisted in seeing that they were informed on what we did and how we did it, and what the company, how the company got involved in it. It had to be backed by the company. A lot of them, companies used to comment, well, say, doesn't this create your problem between the union and management? And I says, no, this makes it a stronger organization, a real team effort. When you get UAW and management together on this, and of course, General Motors, I think, was well aware of that.
Yeah.
Bill Mahoney was.
Yeah.
I know he was.
Who followed you then after you left? You remember who was?
When I left, Sherm Forbes.
Sherm Forbes took over the recreation
Took
job.
a recreation job.
Okay.
And I can't remember how many years he was in it, but he ran into some problems that he had to leave.
Okay. So he followed along.
Yeah.
Any what I'll call interesting incidents which might have happened during all of that?
Let me see. Some of my recreation days.
Sure.
I don't know. I think some of the events in the executive club were memorable. You know, the family dinners. Have you talked to anybody on? The annual Christmas
The
party
party and the picnic, and none of that has come out yet.
And I helped a little, not as much on that, but I did help out that. But it was fun. Every year, looking forward to that annual Christmas party that we had, and had to purchase all the gifts and the distribution. I was in charge of the ticket, I remember, a few times, and Fred Barrett and I worked on that. He became my supervisor later, so I assisted him on that, as well as he did a lot of assisted with me on a lot of activities. The annual picnic, I didn't have much to do with that, but I was involved in some of the games, lining up some of the games at the picnics.
Did we have to do anything?
Girls Club were probably the most enjoyable activities.
Oh, were they?
The Girls Club activities, because of course women are very good organizers anyway, and their officers, they always had very capable officers every year and to plan the activities, but I probably enjoyed those activities more and all, because the girls would pretty much handle the work. I would have to be in attendance, just like ordering the buses in some of the cases, and being there at the banquet and getting a good meal, and
you're the only guy.
And I'm the only guy there, you know. So I had a few of my workers from the personnel department in some cases, but I never had any problem getting helpers for the Girls Club.
I can imagine everybody volunteered, didn't they?
They all volunteered. They all volunteered.
See, it started out being under labor relations initially.
Well, it was always under the personnel department.
Okay, but
recreation was under the director of labor relations.
Yeah. Okay.
That was.
And did it always stay that way?
It always. Yes.
When
always
you left, it was still
that
there.
way.
Okay.
It always, because the director of labor relations, of course, he had, the labor relations representatives, but we were always together. Were they able to take enough time to worry about problems related to recreation because of the labor pressures, or not? Oh, no. No, they kept that totally separate.
Okay.
Even during the negotiations for contract, because that never affected, as long as I was in there, the outcome of what the new contract might be. That never had any effect on our recreation program. Management never would say, well, we're going to cut out this event or that event.
If you don't do something.
If they had something that the union was demanding, because the union themselves had their own recreation program, but it was nothing compared to what the company had. See?
So they had a kind of a parallel sort of thing, baseball and that
On a
type?
much smaller scale.
Okay.
But the company spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on prizes and gifts and the man hours, the time, and all the details. And this was my job to coordinate a lot of this. So there was what the company gave their people was nothing. For example, a cribbage tournament, they'd pay $1 a ticket, and we'd give say 15 places. That's 30 prizes, two-man team. And the money that came in wouldn't have even bought the first 3 places. We would buy 2 prizes, see, so that didn't even touch the expense of it.
What other kinds of things, Dale? Let's see, you had the outdoor club had a variety of fishing, and did you have hunting contests too? Big,
oh yes,
big
the
bucks
hunting.
and...
Oh yes, the prize bucks, and that was just as big as the fishing.
Okay. And it was big fish, prizes for big fish?
On bluegills, on all the different game fish, and the horns, the
deer,
bucks, and...
how about birds? Did you have anything?
Yes, pheasants hunting, and they gave prizes for many categories.
And then you had the cribbage game or contest?
Cribbage tournaments.
Any other kinds of cards or those kinds of things?
No, cribbage was a winter sport, see, during the winter months, because they had no summer, because of summer golf and so on. So that was something to help. And that included all employees. There was no...
All right. That wasn't just an outdoor club thing?
No, that was strictly separate. That was an employee and his guest. He could bring outside guests if he wanted.
So that that one wasn't done under the auspices of the outdoor club?
No. Cribbage tournament was strictly under the...
And the same is true then for the Christmas party and the girls' club activities. Those were done as activities related to those groups, not necessarily outdoor
That's
clubs.
right. No, the outdoor club was strictly separate. See, the Oldsmobile Girls Club was made up of all salaried girls.
All right.
All the outfits. And then usually about 500 of the girls.
Okay. Where did the baseball things come
That was
in?
strictly separate.
That was unrelated to the outdoor club?
That was strictly under my department.
Okay.
That was organized through the entire plant.
Yeah, that was again for everybody.
That was anybody who wanted to form a team.
Okay.
Regardless of what shift they worked or where they worked.
And any combination of people that they wanted.
And get a team together, and then we would schedule the company. My job was to schedule them, then hire the umpires, and have a tournament at the end of the year, and there'd be a champion, Oldsmobile champion declared.
Did you play people outside of Oldsmobile, or was it just purely Oldsmobile people?
No, this was strictly within Oldsmobile.
All right. Any other, did we do basketball or football or any of those other kinds of things?
No, of course the football.
Tennis or?
You remember the executive going to the All-Michigan State football
as a game,
every year. You know, of course that was done under
was that going
the close relationship between the personnel department and Oldsmobile management.
That was going on when you came in?
Biggie Munn, sure. We'd buy, then we'd meet at the Civic Center
for dinner.
And the whole coaching staff would come. They'd bring us old stuff, and that was both Biggie Munn and Deputy Doherty, his staff. We sponsored the bands, the Michigan State band.
Well, that eventually quit. We quit going to the game.
Yeah.
Were you there at that point, or?
I can't remember when that stopped.
I was curious why we quit.
I think the policy of Michigan State it got, for some, I don't know what reason it was, because of maybe the expenses, advertising expense, because the money, we spent a lot of money on their bands and the tickets, but I know Fred Barrett would be able to tell you, and I think Fred's still alive, isn't he?
I can't answer that. I don't know. I'll have to go look on my
Helen Alling checked that, because I know Fred's wife died, and then he married Helen Alling. Fred had, I think, had his leg amputated.
Oh, okay.
But Fred would give you all the
Okay.
lowdown on all
On that part.
If
All
that
right.
was,
Okay. Where did we play ball, for example?
we had our own ball fields over at the forge plant.
Okay.
Softball.
Yeah.
This was
Yeah.
softball.
Uh-huh.
And the forge plant maintenance department, Oliver Franks, I'll never forget him. He was a foreman over there in charge of the softball diamonds,
Mhm.
and I'd have to send him a schedule and make sure that the diamonds are all ready
Mm-hmm.
for our our softball
Yes.
leagues.
Ever have any, what I'll call schmazzes with teams that thought they won but didn't win, and the usual flaps that you have at baseball games?
Oh, we had many flaps. My gosh, umpires, they had to take an awful beating, and that's competition.
Uh-huh.
Good teams,
Yeah.
good teams against other good teams. So it was a great rivalry every year, and especially the forge plant. The togetherness of the forge plant players, because they've always felt that they had to beat the main plant,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and usually they did.
Uh-huh.
They ended up coming out on top, and the rivalry was great.
Uh-huh.
Of course, I look back on a lot of these pictures here, like Stan Philip, I can't think of his last
Yeah.
name. Oh, it's the pride, sense of pride was there
Yeah.
every year. In
Yeah.
fact, they had their plant manager. He'd come to the games
Oh, really?
to root for them because
Uh-huh.
it was a small family
Yeah,
unit over
yeah,
there, and
yeah.
they ended up one year that made the rest of the teams look terrible is that the plant manager bought them uniforms.
Oh, my goodness.
And of course, that made them
Oh,
stand out
yeah,
like sore
yeah.
thumbs, so that gave them more of an incentive to
Yeah,
beat them. But
uh-huh.
the rivalry was always there.
Who'd you use for umpires?
Oh gosh, some of my umpires.
Were those local people?
Oh,
or-
they were all fellows, and
All from the
they
plant?
worked in the plant.
Oh, yes. Okay.
I know Harding Ferris. Sherm Forbes was an umpire
Okay.
who took over my job.
Was it kind of the guys that volunteered to do that? Or
They would get paid.
They would
No,
get
they
paid?
get paid.
Oh, all right.
Umpires. Nobody's going to be an umpire for nothing.
There'd be a lot of grief.
That could be murder.
Mhm.
So the company paid them. The
Mhm.
company paid the umpires. They paid for the balls,
Yeah.
the bats. They'd come to my office at the beginning of the year, and they would get so many bats, and if they broke them, they'd get
Mhm.
replaced. But the equipment,
Yeah.
company would
Yeah.
furnish all the
The
equipment.
gloves and the bats and the balls, but no uniforms.
No uniform.
Except for the
But no,
sports
we
plant.
didn't buy the gloves.
Oh, no gloves.
We might.
Okay.
I think we gave them one glove. I think,
Mhm.
if I recall right. But we got them all the basics.
Mhm.
See, and of course the maintaining the field was a big
Yes.
job to get those things lined up.
Did we have people attend those to watch the games?
Oh,
other
sure,
than-
family members.
Yeah. Excuse me. That would just arrive and watch the game and.
Sure, the schedule was put out. I'd make
Mhm.
out a schedule every year, and throughout the season, and family members would come. Of course, they're always going to pull for their
Yeah.
home team, but like the press plant against the sheet metal.